So I'm out here scrubbing, cleaning up a spinning wheel, and came to me, this would be a good time to make this video, talk about it. I've had several people ask me, Mark, what is it with you and this fascination with spinning wheels? And I'll be honest, I don't see it as a fascination as much as I see it as an appreciation for what goes into it, you know. I mean, think about it. I'm a wood guy, but I also like machines. These are wooden machines. What's not to love, you know? And my wife is a spinner, a knitter, a weaver. She does everything but raise the sheep, and that's only because I had to put my foot down somewhere. So when she gets new tools and toys, of course I have to check them out. And she ordered her first spinning wheel back in, I want to say 2004, something of that nature, 2003 maybe. And of course it came as an unfinished kit. So I'm the wood guy, guess who gets to finish it? And it was while I was working on that, I started noticing what goes into these things, and what they are, what they do. And it's a very, very simple machine that was made complex by, well, us. And it's just that they're not in daily use by the general public anymore. So folks they just don't know about it. They just don't, you know, they don't see them every day, you know, they don't understand how they work because they just don't have a need to. But the whole thing is very simple. I'll see if I can show you here. Now, first thing everybody notices, of course, is the big drive wheel here. And the foot treadle down below, which you can't see. But this back here, this assembly, is where the action actually takes place. This assembly right here, this piece right here is called the flyer. And the drive wheel, its sole job is to spin that flyer around and spin it on this axle. Then the person spinning will feed fiber, little bits at a time, like so, in through this hole right here called the orifice. Now, as that spins, so does this orifice. And the person spinning will actually be feeding from way back here. This whole thing just puts twist into those fibers, so that as they spin, they grab hold of one another and won't pull apart. And as that strand gets longer and longer and longer, it's wound here onto this bobbin. And this bobbin is later taken off, put in a little rack, and 2 or 3 yarns are put together and plied together back onto this wheel. Now, this technology is thousands of years old. Nobody really knows where it exactly came from. But this is the latest progression in home spinning. And so, just looking at the simple functions of these things and how they work, they're actually very, very cool. Now, some of you are probably looking at it going, wow, you know, I could make something like that. Yeah, you probably could. And in fact, one of these days I hope to. But right now I'm developing the skills to get in and turn some of these turned items like the spokes on this wheel here. This particular wheel is still in production today. It's made by a company called Ashford, and this model is called the Traditional. It's probably the single most popular wheel in the world. Ashford is based in New Zealand, and this model's been made since the early 60s, and they've shipped literally millions of them around the world. And as I said, it's still in production today. This one was built in the 80s as far as we can tell. And I'm cleaning it up to do a little bit of tuning up on it, and my wife's delivering it tomorrow to one of her friends. So it'll be a good little spinner. It'll be something to, help a new spinner learn how to use it. Maybe they can move on to bigger, more deluxe wheels if they so desire. But these things can be picked up on Craigslist. I mean, I paid $60 for this one. Brand new, they're close to $700. I paid $60 for this one, and I'm putting a little bit of work, not much. And one of Linda's spinning friends has decided she wants to buy it, so I'm not putting a lot of work into it, so she's getting a very, very reasonable price when I sell it to her. But yeah, I mean, I've taken these and blown them completely apart down to their major components. There's only about, a dozen pieces to it, and stripped and refinished, and sold some in the $400 and $500 range. It's a cool hobby. It really is. I mean, like I said, it's a wooden machine. What's not to love? So I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning this one up so she can get it delivered tomorrow. I'm just wiping it down with some naphtha, that's all. The new owner's gonna paint this, so I'm not really concerned with it. I'm just making sure there's no grease on it for her. But we'll get her tuned up, and she can get it delivered tomorrow. And we'll move on to the next one. So that's kind of the story behind the spinning wheel. Started out with my wife getting an unfinished one, me sanding and finishing that for her 13-14 years ago, and then eventually starting to pick some up to refurbish. They're actually pretty cool.